Hello and welcome to everyone watching on YouTube. My name is Shurjo, and in this video I shall be talking about the Boss GP10. I have done a previous video on the Boss GP10 talking about the patches and what the preset patches are and what the sounds are and what the scope of it is. And in this video I shall be talking about editing in the GP10 and specifically some of the things that I like to do. As I've said in the previous video, I've been using a Boss GR55, which is the guitar synthesizer, for years. And since this is a product which is close to the GR55 in that it has a modeling section, it has piqued my interest. And I am basically in the process of today's video going to try and possibly get the same sort of functionality that I get out of the GR55. As far as the tones and all are concerned, from what I found in the last video, I find that the tones of the GP10 are better, much better, and it is more organic and it has a more it bounces a little bit more. Should I say it's more lively? It's more live oriented. There's no lag between patches and things like that. There's no real noticeable latency, and it is a guitar processor with a modeling section as opposed to the GR55, which is just a modeler, which is just a synthesizer. So there are some differences. So we are going to go into editing this. Before we do that, so I want to talk about the signal chain going in. It is basically the Strat which is going in to the Boss GP10, which is going into the interface. But the Strat is primarily connected through the GK3 pickup. So it's connected through it's a little different setup. In the previous video, I had just connected the GK3 cable, GK3 pickup to the GP10. So I was using the GK3 cable. I am doing the same this time as well, with the added addition of a patch cable from my 1/4 inch out into the guitar and of the GK3. So I can actually get the sound of the pickups as well. So before anything else, we are on patch 99, which is pretty much a blank patch, you can say, for lack of a better term. And what I want to do is I want to play the patch and I want to show you a few things before we just get started. So first and foremost, okay, that's the patch. And this is only the GK3 pickup. There is an option for switching. If you can see that I'm switching. Now it's both GK3 and the normal pickups. That's my Strat pickup. You can see the tone changes. And this is just the Strat. So that's basically what the patch is right now. It's really simple. They've got something on the GK3, an electric guitar. Then there's my electric guitar, which is going through the processor here. Now, what I normally do on the GR55, and that's what I'm going to aim for here. And I guess that you'll understand the editing bits through that. What I aim for in the GR55 is, because I use that, like I said, I use that all the time. That's my live rig pretty much. Is I want to be able to, because I do one-man shows. That's what I do. I do one-man shows. So what I like to do is I like to play bass and guitar at the same time. So what I do is I have my 5th and 6th string be bass guitars, and the remainder of the strings be normal electric guitar. And so then I could, now this sounds pretty plain, but imagine that there's a bass guitar on the 5 and 6, so I can get that deeper sound, and so my lower frequency is also fulfilled. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do here. So your editing basically happens out here. That's where your editing basically happens. There's the modeling / alternate tune, there's the effects, and there's the system. The overall settings are done with the system. That's when you have to set your GP10 up. You want to set your guitar in accordance to that. So you go through your system. You see what the outputs are. Like I'm going into the interface, so it's line phones. There are other options. GK setting 1, type is GK3 because I've got a GK3 pickup, but there are other types. I mean, you can GK2A, GC1, piezo. The piezo ones are for the inbuilt, if your guitar has an inbuilt GK3 situation, a lot of the scale ST, that's a strat. Since I'm playing a strat, that works out pretty well. They've set up the distances. I'm pretty happy with everything, but you can set up the GP10 like so, in this manner. I'm very happy with the way it has come out. The setup is out of the box because it works exactly very well for what I own. For what I own, because I play a strat with a GK3, this thing works just fine straight away. But in case you don't play a strat through a GK3, just make sure you do the necessary adjustments. It's all there, not a big issue. But what I want to do is edit the sound. So I'm going to start here. First thing I press modeling, alternate tune. They say MDL, that's your modeling, whether it's on or off. It's on because we've already played and we had a different guitar sound. Now, the type is electric guitar. Now I said that I want electric bass. Clearly this is not a bass. So the only way I can get the bass is by doing the modeling. So let me switch to electric bass. It's all here and these two, okay? So I move forward, it says JB, that's jazz bass, I'm good with that. Rear volume is fine, front volume is fine, all these volumes, tones, everything is fine. No need for alternate tunings and so on and so forth as of now. But you can see that there are other things, noise and so on and so forth. Now this is a big one for me. String level 6, that's the, by the way, you can hear the bass now. It's no longer, it was an electric guitar beforehand, right? Now it's a bass. Now that's pretty cool. So string level 6, that's full. String level 5 is full. What I want to do is I want to change the string level for 4, 3, 2, and 1, all the way to 0. So that means that if I were to play these things now, I'm only on strings 5 and 6. The spans center, no problems there. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, okay? So what I've done is I've set up so that the modeling is on an electric bass. Now, you might wonder how that's helpful or not helpful. Good question. Keep in mind, I have a switcher here. So I can go from just modeling to combination of modeling and guitar to just guitar. So, if I were to put it in the middle, I have the combination of bass and guitar, but the bass is mostly inaudible compared to the guitar volume, and that is something that I will address in a few minutes. But as of now, I set that part up. Let me go to my next part, which is the effects. Now this is where you're going to set up your amp and so on. So the amp type is on, all right. Natural clean, which is what we're hearing right now, but that natural clean, my guitar is going through that and my bass is going through that. So if I were to change that to, let's say, full range, stack crunch, you can see with every different amp, it sounds different. Now, the sort of set I play, I don't really, when I'm combining bass and guitar, I'm not really playing an extremely distorted guitar tone. I'm playing a slightly, mildly overdriven guitar tone. It's not even overdriven as in the amp has a little bit of distortion. That's all. I'm not pressing any overdrive pedal. So I could technically get away with what is happening here. What I mean is, in the GR55, since it is a synthesizer, the bass goes through a different amplifier and the guitar can go through a different amplifier. They could be separate altogether. Like they would have nothing to do with each other, and that was possible. But here that is not possible since there's only one amp. Both the bass and the guitar will go through an amp and the same amp. It is not possible for them to go through different amps. I'll show that to you in the pedal chain when we come to it. But as of now, take my word for it. You could essentially have one of them switched off or the other switched off. but it doesn't really make sense, sorry, for the guitar to go through without it going through an amp, and it doesn't make sense for the bass to go through without an amp, because again, it's going to be extremely soft if it doesn't go through the amp. So full range, all these different options. What I like, and this is my personal preference, is the Vox amp. So I like this amp, alright? So I've selected the Vox drive, I've got a little gain, maybe push it up a little bit more, maybe a little bit more middle, a little bit more treble, some presence in there. The bigger problem is still that the bass is hardly audible compared to the guitar. You might even wonder if it's there or not. It's there. But this is just the guitar. See how loud that is. So the bass is finding a hard time to cut through, taking a little bit more presence. Gain switch, all of this I'm not really needing at this time, but I am using a little bit of a compressor on from the amp. Okay. Now, you see this, they have a mic level, so they're simulating miking the amp naturally, and they have what is called a direct level. That is just the guitar sound. Now that's pretty interesting too, because normally a Fender going through anything, a Strat especially, is got like a nice sound of its own. So if I were to remove the mic level, put it to 0, nothing, right? I got nothing. And if I bring the direct level up, that's not going through any amp. And you can even hear the bass a little bit more in this. So there's a part of me which wants a little bit of the direct level happening. So I'm going to have a little bit of it there. Let's say around 1/5, and I'm going to bring the mic level up to its fullest, because you know what's the point of having a nice amp if you're not going to use it. Effects and all of these things, but you can obviously add the effects, that's overdrives, compressors, so on and so forth. Wahs, as you can see, it's all here. Choruses. I'm going to add a little bit of a delay. Okay, 400 ms is fine. Maybe turn the feedback down a little bit and get the effect level a little bit lower, because I don't really want that. Did I even turn it on? No, see, it's off. So I turn it on, and so I got a little bit of it going on. Maybe turn the. Alright, fair enough. Reverb, I would like some reverb, if not a lot. The tone is beginning to take shape. Now, EQ, I can't really do much with the EQ. I mean, I could technically, and if you wanted to, you could EQ it. You should if you really want to. But I am trying to do something a little bit more broad strokes here. So in the broad strokes of things, if I try to increase the bass or whatever, since it affects the whole thing, the bass and the guitar, I really would find no use for it, really. Now, we have the normal pickup, which is the pickup of the Stratocaster, that's on, volume, so on and so forth. Modeling in level is 100, pickup in level is 100. Now here's the fun part. They have a balance where the modeling is 100 and the normal pickup N, that's N, is also 100. So if I were to reduce that, if I were to reduce the normal, because we said that the guitar is too loud, reduce the normal. Now you see, now the bass starts flowering on. Maybe a little bit further. I like that. I like that. Now this is the signal chain, okay? M, capital M, if you switch that, that becomes small m. That's basically, if it's small, that means the modular is off. Like so. No more bass. Switch it back on, bass. Okay, the next thing is N, that's your normal pickup. No more normal pickup, just the bass sound. Alright? See, if you play the modeling, if you play two bass notes at the same time, see how they tend to waver a little bit? Because it's not meant to do that. Now, they have wah, effects, amplifier, the noise, the EQ, the foot volume, the chorus, the delay, and the reverb. Something which I want to do is not have my bass go through the reverb and the delay, if possible. So, what I mean is, my bass is also going through that reverb and delay. I don't want that. So how do we remove that? Right now it's on the reverb. You can just pull the reverb back by using this, as you can see, okay? So now you can see, if I do this, the modeling, the arrow is starting here. So the modeling goes through the reverb. If I do this, the modeling is past the reverb, it bypasses the reverb. Alright? I'm going to do the same thing for the delay as well. Bring that back as well. Okay? So now, no more delay on the bass, it's just clean. And now if I were to combine the two, as it turns out, I've turned the N off. See, that's what happens. Turn it on. Going back to effects, changing a couple of things about the amp. Because I wanted to sound sweet. See, the thing is, when I'm using this in the GR55, it is technically possible for me to program it to where I could have the the pickup selectors working, but there would be like one control button, another control button, another control button. Here, I actually can do it on the guitar because again, the GR55 is just a synth modeler. So it doesn't use anything from the actual guitar except the body. No pickups are being used, no pickup selector, none of that, no bass, mid, treble, none of that. So here I have the option of doing that, which means that with this configuration, I can get more tonal variety, like so. Right? So that is, to me, that's really important, because it's really these sorts of instruments, they're about being creative. They're about being creative. So I still want to get the mix of the two really exactly where I would like it. As you can see, I'm going through all this. This is how you go through it. Now we can add a couple of other wrinkles to this. What I mean is, if we were to take this step further, go past the signal chain We have control 1, the function is off here, set it on, and I could select what the function is, and I'm selecting the modeling to be on or off, okay, and in a toggle, which means that the base on or off in the toggle. So if I didn't want that, I like that. That's cool. So keeping the control 3 off, if I move on to another very cool way of assigning in the Boss GR55, Boss GP10, Boss RC300 is this assign situation. So what I'm going to do is, because I want, again, like I said, I want tonal variations. I'm going to switch this assign one, I'm going to switch it to on. All of this on off is with this right here. Now the target is modular on or off. Well, I've already done that. I've done that in control 1, so I'm going to select something different. Modular type, all of these things. Is it the electric guitar? See, because this is what you can select. You can select from the electric guitar what kind of electric guitar, what pickup in the electric guitar. You can select all that here, and you can assign it to various control buttons, and you can switch on, off, and do all of these things. It's very cool. But I'm taking it in a different direction as of now. So you go through all of this, and as you can see, there are tons of options. That basically means there's tons of edit capacity, tons of it. Okay, getting a bit too much, as a matter of fact, very honestly. Alternate tunings, 12 strings, all these capabilities, string bending options, more things with the modular, the levels of the strings, amp on, off, amp type. Now, what I want to do is I want to change the amp type to something different as well. So I have, they are saying target minimum. Let's keep the target minimum to where we were, which was, let's say, the Vox drive. Okay? Or we can even keep it somewhere else, like it really doesn't matter. Let's say we keep it to Pro Crunch in the minimum, and the maximum we keep it to, let's say, a clean twin. Okay, so and then the source is going to be control 2, and the thing is going to be toggled again. So okay, so three completely different tones. Three completely different tones. So now what I want to do is, I want to go back to the target minimum because I wanted to come back to the Vox drive, essentially. Okay, so we exit this. And remember what the patch was in the beginning. The patch was just a simple, electric guitar on the modular and my electric guitar going through. Press right a couple of times, it hardly matters, I can keep the same name. Complete. Okay, that was the fastest completion I've ever seen. So now, so I've got different tone. Nothing on the modular because the modular is off, the modular is on now, is the bass. Okay. So that's how you could completely changed the patch. And now I, happily so, have got what I was looking for. I was looking for a way to combine the bass guitar and the electric guitar so that I could play them all at once, because that's what I've been doing all these years. And the Boss GP10 allows me to do that. Kudos. I like it. And the Boss GP10 has better sounds. So I'm able to get what I want and I can get better sounds. So that's something that I really like as well. You saw in the assign part, they're like not just one assign switch. I think there are 8 assign switches, and you can assign them to many things. You can attach outside expression pedals, outside control pedals. You have these 2 switches right here, the S1 and S2. You can assign things to them. For example, in my GR55, the bass on of the modular, which I assigned to the control, is actually assigned here. So I'll play, I just tap it on. My bass would be on or off. So really handy tool, has really great sounds and is quite functional, and you can do something a little bit unique, like in regards of what I like to do, which is to combine these 2 sounds, layer them. You can layer different sorts of sounds, right? In the modular you can have one sound, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be a bass, could be an acoustic guitar, could be a polyphonic, could be a synth, whatever it has available to it. Could be a different electric guitar. You could combine the 2 sounds, have something different come up. And all of this is still just using the unit. I'm not even going out and using a different guitar rig or something like that. I'm using it within the limitations of the unit, but within that, it's quite handy. I like it. So I hope that this video helps you and that you have more of an idea of how to edit and some of the editing ideas that you could use while using this sort of instrument. The Boss GP10, it is damn good. I hope this helped you, and till next time, take care.